It was a chilly night. The sky looked breathtaking, with a full moon hanging low and stars twinkling brightly. Alex stepped into the restaurant with a smile, excitement bubbling inside him. After 5 long years, he was finally going to meet his high school classmates, especially his close-knit group of 5 friends. Since graduating, they had never managed to reunite. But now, with a class reunion planned, everyone had decided to gather and relive the past. The entire restaurant had been booked. Every seat was occupied. Tables overflowed with food and drinks, and laughter echoed through the room. Beside Alex sat Peter, his best friend, his greatest supporter, his confidant. They had been inseparable since kindergarten. Their families were neighbors and shared a close bond, which meant Alex and Peter had grown up spending most of their time together. Though they now lived at opposite ends of the same city and couldn't meet as often, they still talked on the phone every single day. "Alex, how are you?" one of his friends asked from across the table. "I'm fine. Work keeps me busy," Alex replied with a smile, absent-mindedly playing with his beer glass. "Same here. Some days I wonder why we even grew up." "High school days were the best," his friend said, chugging his drink. Alex wanted to agree, but the memories still haunted him. Despite his friend's efforts to help him move on, he had never truly gotten over what had happened. The past returned in fragments, mostly as nightmares. Therapy had helped, but the scars remained. Determined not to let the past ruin the night, Alex forced himself to stay present. For the next hour, he drank, laughed, and talked with his friends. As he reached to refill his glass, Peter stopped him. "Stop drinking so much. If anything happens, he'll kill me," Peter whispered. "Relax. I'll just crash at your place tonight." "I've already told him," Alex replied with a sheepish grin. As if he'd agree to that, Peter muttered, rolling his eyes. Still, he smiled, watching his friend enjoy himself. He knew what Alex had endured and how hard he had fought to heal. Tonight, he just wanted Alex to be happy. Just then, the atmosphere shifted. A tall man with blonde hair and piercing blue eyes entered the room. "Matthew is here. Matthew is here." Whispers spread across the table. Alex froze. The last time anyone had seen Matthew was when he left for abroad during their final year of high school. Hearing his name, both Alex and Peter turned toward the entrance. The moment Alex saw him, the person he had tried so desperately to forget, his body went rigid. Peter instinctively grabbed his hand, feeling it tremble. Matthew greeted a few people before walking straight toward them. He stopped in front of Alex and extended his hand for a handshake. Alex stood abruptly and left without a word. A smirk crept onto Matthew's face. Peter leaned forward and whispered sharply, "Stay away from him." Matthew ignored him and casually took a seat. Concerned, Peter quickly texted someone. "Alex is not okay. Come to the restaurant ASAP." "I guess he's still weak," just like before, Matthew muttered under his breath. Peter's jaw tightened. "I told you, stay away from him, or you won't like what happens next." Without waiting for a response, Peter rushed toward the washroom. The washroom was empty, just as he expected. The entire restaurant was booked for their group, and everyone else was outside enjoying the party. It was better this way. He didn't want anyone to see Alex like this. From one of the stalls came the sound of someone vomiting. Peter knocked softly. "Alex, are you okay?" The sound continued. "Wait here. I'll get something from a nearby pharmacy," he said, before hurrying out. Inside the stall, Alex sat on the floor, shaking. Memories flooded his mind, the ones he had spent years trying to bury. His breathing grew rapid and uneven. It had started 6 years ago. Back in high school, Alex had developed a crush on Matthew. One day, gathering all his courage, he confessed, and to his surprise, Matthew accepted. They began dating. The first 4 months felt like a dream, studying together in the library, going on weekend dates, Matthew dropping him home every day. Everything seemed perfect. Then things changed. Matthew fell in with a rough crowd and picked up smoking and drinking. Slowly, his behavior shifted. He became short-tempered, controlling. At first, it was small, getting angry if Alex replied late, if he spent too much time with Peter, or he refused public displays of affection. Then came the violence. It started with punches and kicks in places no one would see. Alex tried to leave, but Matthew would always apologize, promising it wouldn't happen again. Sometimes he twisted the situation, making Alex believe it was his fault. And when that didn't work, he threatened to kill himself. Twice, he harmed himself in front of Alex, just to prove it. Alex was trapped. Then came the night that changed everything. It was April. Both Alex's and Peter's parents were away for 15 days. As usual, Peter planned to stay over at Alex's house. Around 8 p.m., Alex was waiting in the living room when the doorbell rang. Smiling, he went to open it, expecting Peter. Instead, he found Matthew, drunk. "What are you doing here?" Alex asked, fear creeping into his voice. "Won't you invite your boyfriend in?" Matthew slurred. "You need to leave," Alex said firmly, though his hands trembled. Matthew's expression darkened. "Don't anger me, Alex. Move aside." "No, please just go." That was enough. Matthew grabbed him by the throat. Accusations flew. Cheating, betrayal, until Matthew lost control completely. He pushed Alex to the ground and began hitting him. Kicking, punching. "Stop, please." "I'm not cheating," Alex cried, trying to shield himself. But Matthew didn't stop. By the time he did, Alex lay motionless, bleeding, barely breathing. Fear replaced rage. Matthew ran. The next thing Alex remembered was Peter's voice, calling his name. Then darkness. When Alex woke up, 2 days had passed. His parents, Peter, and their family surrounded him. He was badly injured, 2 broken ribs among other wounds. Despite everything, Alex told him the truth, every detail. Peter was furious, but someone else was even more enraged. He stormed out, heading straight for Matthew's house. But it was too late. Matthew and his family had already left the country, gone, back in the present. Alex snapped out his memories, struggling to steady his breathing. He searched for his phone desperately. He needed him. He needed to get out of here. Forcing himself up, he stumbled out of the stall and toward the sink. He tried washing his face, using the hand washed there, as if he was trying to remove something. As he splashed water on his face, he heard the washroom door open. "Peter, did you bring something? My throat hurts. I need to leave. I need to go to him," Alex said weakly. "And who might that be?" The voice sent a chill down his spine. "Matthew." Alex turned, panic flooding his face. He tried to leave, but before he could reach the door, Matthew grabbed him and slammed him against the wall. "I asked you something," he growled. Alex shoved him away, trying again to escape, but Matthew yanked him back by the hair and threw him to the ground. "Looks like you've forgotten everything. Maybe you need a reminder." He raised his fist. Alex curled into himself, covering his head, his breathing spiraling out of control. "Let's see if that person you're so desperate to go to shows up," Matthew sneered. Just as his fist came down, a sharp kick struck him from the side. Matthew staggered. Standing there were Peter and another man. "Who the hell are you?" Matthew snapped. The man stepped forward, eyes blazing. "Shawn," he said coldly, "Alex's boyfriend and your worst enemy." He immediately rushed to Alex, pulling him into his arms. As Alex slipped into unconsciousness, he heard Shawn's voice, steady, reassuring. "I've got you, love. You're safe now." Shawn was Peter's older brother. There was a 7-year age gap between them. Shawn owned a famous restaurant, which he had started soon after graduating from culinary school. Slowly but steadily, his business flourished, and now he owned another branch on the other side of the city, managed by Peter, who joined him after completing his business degree. Both restaurants have become the talk of the town, even among influential circles, thanks to their delicious food, polite staff, excellent service, and stunning interiors. Customers were not only captivated by the restaurant themselves, but also intrigued by the mysterious identity of their owners. Rumor had it that both the owner and his brother were exceptionally handsome, but neither of them ever showed their faces publicly. The only thing people ever heard from the staff was that the two brothers were, indeed, strikingly handsome. Shawn preferred to keep his private life exactly that, private. However, there was another secret the employees knew, one they were strictly told to keep hidden. Shawn had a partner, someone who was his entire world, someone so precious that even a scratch on his body could send Shawn into a blinding rage. His man was his to love and his to protect. But the story of how that person became the center of Shawn's world wasn't something that began recently. It was rooted years back, long before the success, the secrecy, and the guarded life he now led. Back then, things were simpler. Peter and Alex had been childhood friends. Being neighbors, they spent most of their time together. Occasionally, Shawn would join them, and the three would spend hours playing games, going out to eat, or having sleepovers whenever their parents were away on work trips. To Shawn, both Peter and Alex were incredibly important. He had always felt protective of them. But everything changed one night. It was the night Peter called him in panic. Alex had been found lying motionless at home, bleeding, just minutes earlier. Peter had told Shawn he would be staying the night at Alex's place, as planned, while Shawn stayed at their own house, so both homes wouldn't be left empty. Shawn had simply waved goodbye, reminding him to stay safe and call if needed. And now, barely 3 minutes later, he received a call that made his heart drop. Shawn rushed to Alex's house while calling an ambulance. When he arrived and saw Alex's condition, an 18-year-old boy covered in blood, his heart shattered. Peter went with Alex in the ambulance, while Shawn followed closely behind in his car. On the way, Shawn informed both families, who immediately booked the next available flights back home. At the hospital, after initial treatment, the doctors confirmed Alex's condition: 2 broken ribs and several other serious injuries. Rage ignited within Shawn, but there was nothing he could do. Not yet. Only Alex knew who had done this. 2 days later, Alex finally regained consciousness. Surrounded by his family, Peter and Shawn, he told them everything, every detail. Peter was furious, but Shawn was beyond enraged. He stormed out immediately and drove straight to Matthew's house, the one responsible. But he was too late. The house was empty. Neighbors informed him that Matthew and his family had already left the country after his father supposedly received a job offer abroad. Shawn knew the truth. It was nothing but a cover to protect Matthew and hide his crimes. Defeated but burning with anger, Shawn sat in his car, gripping the steering wheel, trying to steady his breathing. No matter how furious he felt, he knew one thing: Alex needed him. So he returned to the hospital. After 10 days, Alex was discharged and taken to his grandparents' house in the countryside, away from painful memories. Every weekend, Peter visited him, bringing notes, studying together, and playing games. Shawn never missed a single visit, no matter how busy he was. Even when Peter couldn't come, Shawn made sure to go alone. He would take Alex out, show him new places, dine together, and spend quiet moments in the park. Slowly, gently, he became Alex's safe place. And every night, Shawn made sure to call him, just to remind him that he was not alone. Their relationship began to shift. Both of them felt it. Neither of them said it. But the trauma lingered. Alex suffered from nightmares. Loud noises or loneliness would trigger panic attacks. One night, when his family had to leave town unexpectedly, Shawn came to stay with him. When Shawn entered the house, he found Alex curled up in a corner, struggling to breathe, trapped in a panic attack. Without hesitation, Shawn rushed him and pulled him into a tight embrace, grounding him, whispering reassurance until Alex finally calmed down. That night, Alex broke. He opened up about everything, his trauma, his fears, and what he had endured with Matthew. Shawn listened silently, holding him as he cried himself to sleep. Carefully, he carried Alex to bed and covered him. And that night, Shawn made a silent promise. No one would ever hurt Alex again. After finishing high school, Alex moved in with Shawn. With his parents' consent, Shawn arranged therapy for him. The sessions were difficult at first, but slowly, Alex began to heal. He learned to confront his fears, his anger, and his guilt. But the nightmares still came. One night, terrified, Alex ran to Shawn's room. Shawn immediately understood and pulled him into bed, holding him close. "No matter what, Alex, no one will ever hurt you again," he whispered, kissing his forehead. From that night on, Alex began sleeping in Shawn's room. And somewhere along the way, they became something more. Their life together felt natural. Breakfast together, Shawn dropping Alex to university, picking him up, quiet evenings, shared silences, small gestures, like Shawn absent-mindedly massaging Alex's legs while reading, spoke volumes. They didn't say, "I love you," but they both knew. Everything changed on Alex's 21st birthday. Peter, completely oblivious, casually suggested setting Alex up with someone. Shawn, who had just walked in, overheard everything. Without a word, he walked up to Alex, pulled him close, and held his hand. When Peter finally looked up, he froze. You?" he stammered. "Yes," Shawn said firmly. "Him and I love him. He is my boyfriend. So don't you dare set him up with anyone else." And for the first time, he said it. "I love you." Flustered and overwhelmed, Alex hid in Shawn's embrace. They were finally official. As Peter stood there, stunned and defeated, Alex slowly lifted his head. Softly, shyly, he whispered in Shawn's ear, "I love you too," and kissed his cheek. Both brothers froze in shock, while Alex buried his face again in Shawn's chest, blushing, and Shawn held him closer than ever before. Since the day he had vowed to protect Alex, Shawn did everything in his power to keep him safe and happy. Every day, he expressed his love through small, thoughtful gestures, kissing Alex before leaving home, restocking his favorite food and drinks before they ran out, checking in on him during lunch, massaging his shoulders when he was buried in assignments, and planning little surprise dates. Shawn made sure Alex always knew how much he meant to him, no matter how busy he was. He never missed in with Alex, and always tried to be there when it mattered most. Shawn was usually calm, a man of few words. He preferred listening, especially when Alex spoke endlessly about anything and everything. The only time his composure cracked was when it came to Alex's safety, and today was one of those days. Alex and Peter's high school reunion was being held at one of the family restaurants. This branch was under Shawn's supervision, since Peter would be attending here. Shawn had decided to briefly visit another branch that Peter usually managed. After making sure everything was running smoothly and seeing Alex happily chatting with old friends, Shawn left. He had barely reached halfway when his phone buzzed. "Alex is not okay. Come to the restaurant ASAP." The moment he read Peter's message, his heart dropped. Without hesitation, he made a sharp U-turn and sped back. When he reached the restaurant, he saw Peter rushing in with a pharmacy bag. Panic surged through Shawn as he ran up to him. "Peter, what happened to Alex?" "Matthew is here." That single sentence was enough. "Where's Alex?" Shawn asked, his voice tight with urgency. "In the washroom. He was..." Before Peter could finish, Shawn was already running. He burst open the washroom door and froze for a split second. Alex was curled into himself, trembling, his breathing erratic, arms wrapped around his head as if trying to disappear. And then Shawn saw him. Matthew. Rage exploded within him. drowning out everything else. He didn't hear what the man was saying. He only saw him raising his hand toward Alex. Before the blow could land, Shawn lunged forward and delivered a sharp kick, sending the man staggering back. "Who the hell are you?" the man snapped. Shawn's eyes burned with fury as he stepped forward, his voice cold and lethal. "Shawn, Alex's boyfriend," he paused, his jaw tightening. "And your worst enemy." Without another glance, he turned and rushed to Alex, pulling him gently into his arms. "I've got you, love," he murmured, his voice soft yet steady. "You're safe now. I'm here." Alex's trembling slowly gave way as he slipped into unconsciousness. Shawn carefully lifted him into his arms and turned to Peter. "Make sure he stays here. Call the police. This time he's not walking away." Peter nodded and immediately got to work, while Shawn carried Alex out, instructing an employee to help keep an eye on Matthew until the police arrived. On the way home, Shawn called their family doctor, asking him to come over urgently. By the time they reached the condo, the doctor had already arrived. After a quick examination, he said, "It looks like he fainted due to shock and exhaustion. Did something trigger him again?" "Yes, something related to his past," Shawn replied, worry evident in his voice. "Take care of him. Call me if anything changes." After seeing the doctor out, Shawn returned to Alex. He gently cleaned him up and changed him into comfortable pajamas, his movements careful and tender. Later, he called Peter, who confirmed that Matthew had been taken into custody. Alex would need to give a statement the next day. They agreed to inform their parents afterward. When Shawn entered the bedroom again, his heart clenched. Alex was sitting on the bed, knees pulled tightly to his chest, face buried, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Shawn crossed the room in an instant and wrapped his arms around him. Hey, love, you're okay," he whispered softly, pressing his cheek against Alex's hair. "I'm here. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're safe." Alex clung to him. "Why, Shawn?" His voice broke. "I was finally healing. Why did he have to come back?" "When I saw him, it felt like everything came rushing back. I could feel it, all of it, like I was reliving it again. I felt disgusted. I couldn't even stand my own skin." Shawn tightened his hold, his heart aching. "I was washing my face, trying to calm down," Alex continued, his voice trembling. "Then the door opened. I thought it was Peter, but it was him. I tried to leave, but he grabbed me, slammed me against a wall, and when I pushed him away, Alex choked. He pulled my hair and threw me to the ground." Shawn pressed a kiss to his forehead, his voice thick but steady. "You did so well, love. I'm so proud of you. Will he come back?" Alex asked quietly, fear evident in his eyes. "Not this time," Shawn assured him firmly. "He's in police custody. And tomorrow, if you're ready, we'll make sure he stays there." "I'm scared," Alex admitted. "I know," Shawn said gently, cupping his face. "And that's okay. You don't have to face this alone. I'm with you every step of the way. And this time we make sure he pays for everything he put you through." Alex fell silent, thinking the fear was still there, but so was something stronger. "Trust. I'll go tomorrow," he said softly. "But you have to be with me." Shawn pulled him into a warm embrace. Always. That night, when nightmares came for Alex again, Shawn was there, holding him, grounding him, refusing to let him face it alone. The next morning, Alex woke up with a splitting headache. Every part of him wanted to stay in bed, but he knew he couldn't. This was the end of that chapter. By the time he got ready, Shawn had already prepared breakfast. They ate quietly before heading to the police station. Giving a statement wasn't easy. Every word forced him to relive the past. But he endured it. This time, he wasn't powerless. By the end, the case was filed. The police informed them that with the available evidence, Matthew would likely face over a year in prison. Alex felt drained, but lighter. When they returned home, both changed into something comfortable and settled on the couch. After long silence, Alex spoke. "Shawn, I want to start therapy again." Shawn looked at him, surprised but attentive. "If that's what you want, I'll arrange it," he said. "But why start again?" "I wasn't ready before," Alex admitted. "But now, I want closure. I want to heal completely. I'm tired of the fear, the panic attacks, the guilt. I want to live freely again. I want to love myself the way you love me." Shawn's expression softened deeply. "Then we'll do it," he said, his voice warm. "Together." He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a soft whisper. "May I kiss you?" Alex flushed, caught off guard, but nodded. Shawn closed the distance gently, pressing his lips to Alex's in a slow, reassuring kiss. It wasn't rushed. It was careful, filled with warmth, grounding him in the present. The kiss deepened gradually, carrying comfort, trust, and unspoken promises. Shawn held him close, as if reminding him, with every touch, that he was safe, cherished, and loved. Alex soon began therapy again. With each session, he grew stronger, more confident, more at peace with himself. As for Matthew, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison for assault. To Shawn, Peter, and their families, it felt insufficient. But for Alex, it was enough. Because for the first time in a long while, everything finally felt like it was falling back into place.